Nerdrotic.com.
Hey, welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from Nerdrotic.com. Hello, neighbors. Hello, friends. Hello, frenemies. Happy Monday. Hope you're all doing just dandy. We're getting ready for that liquid that falls from the sky here in Southern California, where everybody loses their goddamn minds and doesn't know how to drive anymore. So batten down the hatches and just stay at home if you value your life. California drivers are psychotic on their, best day, and they're just stupid when it comes to rain. I've lived here all my life, and I used to delivery drive in this area, and oh my. So it was raining in San Francisco yesterday, or what I'd like to call flushing the toilet. And thank you. I'm here all week. Try the veal. And my dear wife is up there doing some work, and the video, like the trucks being blown over on the San Rafael Bridge, that was crazy. I guess it was a bomb cyclone, which I have never heard of. It feels like they make this shit up because but maybe it's a thing. I don't know. It's just a really bad storm, and I know everybody on the East Coast just kind of chuckles when they see, people on their balconies in San Francisco going, "Look at this stuff falling from the sky." Storm Watch 2021. Yeah, so it's headed this way. We're supposed to get some bad wind, and hopefully the internet holds up. We'll see. We've got a few hours. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, I need to talk about some stuff from last week. I never really got a chance to. So we will discuss my little visit to the TimcastIRL Compound. I suppose we could talk a little bit about Alec Baldwin. But, I mean, it just looks like that was a complete and total foobar. An absolute foobar. And I guess there's a lesson we could all learn about karma in that. The Eternals reviews are coming in. We've heard from the shills, and now we've heard from the other professional shills, and it's not looking too good. It's sounding a lot like what my friend said, and now I have a second friend who has seen it and said essentially the same thing. So we'll talk about that. We can talk about Dune. A lot of people are loving Dune. And I guess everything is doing well at the box office now. I guess Hollywood really needs things to do well, so I guess everything's doing well. And yes, Dune was released on HBO Max at the same time. They're calling it had a $41 million weekend. But I mean, if you put Dune up to, say, Venom 2, and Venom 2 didn't cost as much as Dune, and Venom 2 did, double the numbers Dune did. And considering what went into Dune, I guess if you want to compare it to something, it's kind of like somebody putting in months and months of editing and time into a YouTube video that's a few hours long. That gets about 100,000 views, and then you get some guy sitting down in front of his camera for 10 minutes and getting 1 million views. That's kind of what it feels like to me. And I liked Dune. I did. I didn't think it was the greatest thing I've ever seen, but I liked it. What else are we going to talk about? Oh, Eric July put out a tweet last night right before I went to bed that I liked. He puts out a lot of tweets I like, but it said, "We will win." It was very simple. It's very simple. And he's right. And we'll talk about that. We're also going to talk a little bit about principles. So that stuff, that carryover stuff from last week. Principles. I know, I can hear you laughing now. And you'd be right. You'd be right. Principles on YouTube. Ridiculous. I know. But we'll discuss those a little bit too. As far as whatever, the movement, the culture war, the fellowship, because they matter. truth, context, loyalty, principles. These are things that matter to me, and I'm sure they matter to you. We're also going to discuss, it's not in the title, probably should put in the title, some California stuff. I am currently working on a goodbye to San Francisco video, so it's not going to be pop culture related. I've done videos like this before, and I just, want to tell you that this is a pop culture channel. That's where it's going to stay, but sometimes I just talk about my stuff, and I have been waiting to do this video until the house sold, because the realtor and I came to the conclusion that it probably wouldn't have been a good idea for me to rip San Francisco for 10 to 15 minutes before I sold my house there. Now I can. Now I can let it all out. And that'll be out tomorrow. That'll be out tomorrow. And we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. I know I put something. Oh, Doctor Who. Doctor Who is the first female doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen's reign ends. It has ended. She has shot. Oh, I'm sorry. Should I not use that term? Her final footage. Too soon. Her final footage for Doctor Who with Mandeep Gill. The outstanding companion, Mandeep Gill, who can sit there like nobody else. Keep an eye on that stream health now. Let's see who's here. I like that. Visigoth, Doctor Who. Exactly. That's what it's going to turn into. Welcome, Loose Cannon 84, Bastard, Eric K, Lady Gravemaster. Man, look at all those wrenches. Chris Persia, Vincent Harris, Omar Coke. Is that Coca-Cola Classic or like Cocaine Coke? Fat Elvis, you're just big bone, Elvis. Max 15, Stone Dog. They're members. Aaron 88, David A, Mr. Haha Oni. Hello. Oh, it's going a little fast. Here, let's put you guys on display here. Let's put you on display here. This time I'm facing you. It makes more sense for it to be over there because I'm facing you. Oh, gosh, got the chat box is going too. There we go. That's easier. Mr. Buttcrack Media, Dave Gorman. Is that Thibau? Spat64. Letist. The Angry Gamer. Let it out, man. Let it out. Chris Foster. Ezra Goldstein. Oscar Silver. Gonzalo Borgali. The R. Lord Vito. Mr. Bentham. Greetings. The Cheese Factor. Some guy called Darren. Dangerous Freedom. Freedom is in danger, that's for sure. What is this? Ice Moosher of La Fangirls. Uber Malice. Greibel. And Gub Dig. Welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. It's been a while. It's so good to be here chatting with y'all. Here, I can move that. Where is that? We can move that over there. That makes a little more sense. All right. I can't wait until I move, and I will have a little help. It'll be so nice. It'll be so nice. And I can't wait to tell you who that person is. Coming soon. So, yeah, house sold. Melissa and I have an anniversary coming up, so we're going to do that. And then hopefully we'll have a house like soon. I don't think it's going to take very long because we don't have to go through the escrow process. And we'll be in Texas like that. I'm looking at the outskirts of San Antonio as long as I can get fiber out there. It all depends on Red County, fiber, and we have some requirements for the house. And Melissa is on it. She's on it. So as people roll in, I'll just we'll talk a little bit about my visit to the Timcast IRL, which was last a week ago. It's been over a week now, and it happened kind of quick. It happened very quick. Lydia, who is freaking fabulous, by the way. Every YouTuber who's doing podcasting at some point needs a Lydia. She is on top of her job like no one else. And she contacted me, asked me if I wanted to be on. I said, of course. And they flew me out there. Melissa met me. She drove down here, and we got her a ticket, and she flew with me because I hate flying. I can't stand flying. I'm very grateful that they paid for the flight. I don't want to sound like I'm ungrateful because that was brilliant. Just not the best flyer in the world. And doing that mask thing on the plane sucks. That sucks. Got out there. They put me up in a hotel. So when I did Friday Night Tights in the morning, I was in a Holiday Inn. He's in, I'll just say, I won't say exactly where, but it's in the state, because he said this publicly, so I feel okay saying it's in the state of Maryland. It's in the state of Maryland. I haven't been to Baltimore since I was like a kid. Didn't get to see much of it. It's out in the sticks a bit, and it's a huge compound. It's a huge compound with skateboarding ramps everywhere, indoor, outdoor, dirt bikes, guest houses, guard dogs, chickens. Yes, there's chickens. And when I first saw Tim, he was out feeding his chickens. Hung out. When you get there, there's an artist there who draws a picture of you. You can sign it, and they put it up on the wall with all the other guests. I think that's fairly new. Got a tour of the house, and there's cool things like I'll say there's a secret compartments. That's as far as I'll go with that. So there's like really cool house, like a Winchester mystery podcast house. That's how I would describe it. And that's how they described it too. Thing I was impressed the most with was the studio. That thing was tight. So I a lot of mental notes when I walked in there. I'm like, okay, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to copy that. And I felt so, it was great when we sat down, because I thought that we would discuss like what we talked about, and we did, like right when we sat down about 10 minutes before the show. So it's a lot like Friday Night Tights. So I was like, okay, I'm not the only one. That's good. It's not like in these times, in current year, there isn't enough to talk about. There's always enough to talk about. There's always something stupid the government's doing, state government's doing, or federal. A school board. Hollywood does something stupid 2 or 3 times a day. Yeah, we had plenty to talk about. Yeah, I was a little, at first, I wasn't sure, like, when you sit down, especially when it's in person, it's very different in person. It's a little easier when you're on, the Brady Bunch StreamYards, and you can't rely on like facial tics or tells when you can talk. You just have to figure out when you can talk with somebody, and you just kind of work that out, and it happens. This one is it's completely different when you're sitting down with somebody. And it took me a minute to figure out, like, they have a rhythm, and it took me a minute to figure out the rhythm. And the tell is like when Tim looks at you, he definitely wants you to talk. So figured that out, and you guys showed up in force. That was fucking brilliant. And hearing George in the, that was so great. That was so fucking great. I was, and they were impressed with you guys. They were very impressed with you guys showing up. So I just wanted to pass that on. Thank you. You guys fucking rock. That was cool. So yeah, I played some skee ball. We chatted. We watched some Fox News on the big screen. They got a bar. There's a lot of actually pretty cool people there. It's a lot like an artist compound, except like no drugs. It was just a bunch of basically kids. They all had a purpose. They all had a job there, and it was an impressive operation. as far as Tim goes, Tim's Tim. He's the same way he is on his videos as far as I was concerned. But I mean, I only met him for a very short amount of time. He was incredibly cool to me. And we had a lot of chit chat afterwards, which, I'll, if things come to fruition, I'll talk about, but I can't right now. But it was a good time. I'm glad I went. I don't think I'll be getting in a plane anytime soon. After that, I flew on 2 planes out there, flew on 2 planes back, and the flights were fine, very smooth. But I don't have. I used to suffer from things like, anxiety and panic attacks, especially when I just got off dope. It took me like a year, and especially when I got out of prison. It took me a couple of years to just mellow out and through therapy and stuff. But I could definitely see if somebody suffers from any kind of breathing problems, panic attacks, flying on a plane with a mask on would suck. Would absolutely suck. After a couple of hours, thankfully I didn't have a bunch of Karens sitting next to me because I was pulling mine down after a while, and they were cool about it. Watched Squid Game on the way in and out, and I like Squid Game. I thought it was good. I think there is a certain amount of Eddie Murphy's Ritz cracker philosophy there. If you're a starving man in the desert and you're given a Ritz cracker, it's the greatest thing you've ever tasted. We're starving in the desert of entertainment with all of the garbage that gets served up, along with the garbage that is served up by our mainstream media. It's all part of the plan. Strangely enough, there's still people who don't think this is happening. And it's up to us to win those hearts and minds over, as frustrating as it can be sometimes. And then there's the entities working against us, which is that's part of it. That'll always be there. But I had a good time. It was a great experience. If any other content creator gets invited, I'd say definitely say yeah. Definitely say yes and go. It was very cool. It was weird seeing my face on the thumbnails. That was surreal. And it helped the channel. So thanks, Tim. Thanks. Sip of coffee for the working man and woman out there. Oh, this mug, I think it's from Daily Wire. Yeah. It keeps the coffee hot. Good job on that one. Woo, that's hot. That's good. So, working on my San Francisco video. I have to admit, I'm still a little bitter. Still a little resentful about everything that went down. Is it a situation where I should have seen it coming? We should have seen it coming, probably. Did I get lazy and put too much faith in a system that is working against the people and not for the people? Yeah, that's my responsibility for not paying enough attention. Just kind of giving up, throwing my kind of black pilling in a way in San Francisco. Just like the politics are never going to change here. And I can vote against this one person. I'll be the one lone person voting against this person. But I think I know that's how they want us to feel there. Because, in my time there, when I sold comic books and I got to see a good cross section of the population, they're not like that. They're not like lunatics. Sure, there are some who didn't have the politics I have. But authoritarianism, that's an extra step that I never really got a vibe out of many of my customers. My customers were very working class, middle class people. but still very bitter and resentful. You know, if I was still living in San Francisco, I could not go to the gym. I could not go to the grocery store. I couldn't go to a movie. I couldn't go to an AA meeting. Now, I don't know if the AA meetings are following these rules. I don't know if they're just having them outside so they can get around these rules, because I haven't been to one in San Francisco. But if they're keeping people out of AA meetings, masks is bad enough. But if they're keeping them out for the poke, that's reprehensible. So I hope they aren't. I hope they aren't. But yeah, if I followed the letter of the law, I could not practice my sobriety there. Two major factors of it: going to the gym, going to meetings. Very important. Both of them equally as important to me. Thankfully, San Diego hasn't gone that insane. There's no mask requirements here. A lot of people are wearing them, but there's no requirements. And there's no mandates. I have to admit, I'm a little surprised. I know the county would fight it, but the city, I thought, would definitely, just do what LA and San Francisco is doing, but they haven't yet. So there's that. That's good. But that is why we left. I thought we would be locked down again, but this is just as bad. By all means, get it if you want. I'm not a doctor, blah, blah, blah. It's entirely up to you. But when it comes to the kids, that's a whole other story. Let me get our first article up. I actually have some of them ready to go. And my phone is going crazy. I might have to turn it off. Wait. I don't know if somebody's I don't know what this is about. No. So somebody is impersonating me. Where is that? Hang on. Where is that? What platform? So there's been somebody impersonating George, right? Okay. Oh, it's on Superhero Hype? All right. Well, yeah, I don't even go to Superhero Hype. I haven't gone to Superhero Hype. So apparently on Superhero Hype, there's somebody commenting as me. That's not me. I haven't gone to that website since I was at the comic shop. So yeah, that tends to happen. There's people impersonating George too, I think. So yeah. If something doesn't sound like me, it probably isn't me, especially because I don't comment on garbage tier websites. You would never see me doing that. The only places I comment regularly are YouTube on my channel, Twitter, occasionally on Facebook, and on Instagram, and nowhere else. Max 15 for £5 says, my life is pretty shit at the moment. I'm sorry to hear that, man. But I have a nooner, so it's all good. Thank you, Gary. You're welcome. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully we can cheer you up a little bit by clowning a few things and talking about some stuff we love. Gary, I see you at... if I see you at HEB in San Antonio, I'll say hi. All right. The Henry V for $2. Yeah, I've got some decisions to make. Once we get the house, I'll know if the studio is going to be on site or off site, and what we're going to do from there. I'll let you know. Toxic Man flew for $5. Says, can't believe Tim read my super chat. Made me feel almost as good as when Gary reads one of mine. Almost. Ah, that's nice. Yeah. You know, he reads some when he can. He's got a time limit on the show. The show felt like it just went fast. It did. Larry Herzog Jr. for $5 is Valley City, North Dakota, Red County, cheap real estate, epic winners. Yeah, Larry, thank you. No, I've been to South Dakota quite a bit. I've been to North Dakota a couple of times, but South Dakota, been there quite a bit. Lovely state, lovely people. Not going to live there. No, I have to be somewhat on the west. It has to be somewhat warm. I know Texas is purple. I understand that. It just depends on where the county is. Plus, there's freedoms in Texas you just don't get in California. You leave California, you save 50% on life. As far financially, everything costs half as much. Gas, half as much. Food, half as much. Real estate, half as much. The property taxes, everybody's like, watch out for those Texas property taxes. I'm like, oh, you're adorable. I've been paying California property taxes my entire life, half as much. And I'll be saying this in my San Francisco video. I understand not everybody can leave. And what sucks is the people leaving California and the people leaving San Francisco are the people who pay the vast majority of taxes, which is the middle class, upper middle class to lower middle class. Lower middle class, which I was pretty much my entire life. I wouldn't have been able to just up and move, but I still would have tried because the process might even have put me in debt, but the overall savings later would have worked, especially if you have a job you can transfer. Some people are not in that position, and my heart goes out to them. I understand that. But I would say if you're in a city, get out. At least get out of the city. And maybe if you can't get out of the state, go into outer suburbs if you can. It does get cheaper. There are cheaper parts of California if you don't want to go too far away. I mean, San Diego's great. It's a great city. It's beautiful. But it's in California. So it's in California where toy aisles are being mandated. The boardrooms of companies are being mandated. And once you let that wolf in the door, they're going to start mandating, how you do business. The administration, Obama's third administration is already thinking of new and friendly ways to tax us to death out there. So I'm going to get away from that as far as I can. Luckily, I've got some friends in Texas too. So that's helpful. But if it doesn't work out there, I can always leave again. But yeah, it sucks that I never wanted to leave the state. Never wanted to leave the state. It's beautiful. Place of my birth. Escondido, where I'm at now, I lived a good portion of my life. Encinitas is where I grew up. Encinitas and Carlsbad. They're beach cities. They're freaking gorgeous, and they're overpriced. And you think about like how much I used to be when I lived down here. I used to go out a lot more than I do now. I used to go camping all the time and hiking and off-roading and all that Southern California stuff that I stopped doing when I moved to San Francisco. Let's see, what am I going to miss about San Francisco? Not being able to park anywhere, and anywhere you do park, it costs a fortune. How many parking tickets did I get in my 18 years there? Couple 300. Couple 300. Insane property tax. insane crime. My entire life walking around San Diego, I never had to look over my shoulder or worry about anything. Can't say the same about San Francisco. My car was broken into 9 times. 9 times. 9 fucking times. And that's nothing compared to other people. The poop thing on the street is real. There are needles everywhere. There are homeless people everywhere. It's dirty. It's a very dirty city. And it is in love with itself. San Francisco thinks it is Mecca. It is progressive Mecca. They just think everybody else will eventually catch up to our progressive ways. We are so ahead of the curve. All of those idiots who live in those flyover states, they are so pompous, pretentious, elitist. That is true. But all of these things they ask for, they never want in their backyard in Marin County. I don't know if it was, I think they wanted to put a BART line from Richmond to Marin. Now there's a bridge, but there's no BART station. And Marin was just not having it. Not having it. Because if you don't know Richmond, California, think Oakland, but worse. Oakland, but worse as far as crime is concerned. And yeah, Marin was just like, oh no, we can't have, there's environmental stuff that we can't now. Full of shit they are. Full of shit those people are. When Luke escapes the Wampa cave, Ben Burt messed up the lightsaber. There's not a single version I've seen of Empire that doesn't have this flaw, says Loose Cannon 84 for 616. He messed up the sound effect. Maybe they liked it. Maybe it became something they liked. Ben Burt was a genius, though. So whatever screw up he did, it probably ended up being all right. I don't think I'll ever watch Empire again. How sad is that? I have no plans of watching any Star Wars of any kind anytime soon. You tend to get soured on a brand that tries to discredit you. They try to discredit me and my friends for opinions. No, they don't like how we point out how their brand has gone to shit and exactly why. We pulled the curtain back, and it made some people very upset. Not sorry. Not sorry at all. But maybe if you would have listened, instead of just reading our sometimes hyperbolic titles of our videos, they are meant to be eye-catching, but I promise you, every single title I put up, I have talked about in detail. Why I think whatever that title says. But instead of listening, Dave Chappelle. I'm not comparing myself to Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is a genius of his craft. Dave Chappelle is also kind of the anointed one by the system. He's allowed to call out the system while being part of it. I mean, come on. We love Dave Chappelle, but he talks to Anderson Cooper. He's got his phone number regularly. He talks to the CEO of Netflix. But Chappelle can call them out, and that's good. But as he said at the end of the closer, I think he was very clear. I've always understood what he was talking about. And I think most of you, if not all of you, understood if you watched exactly what he was talking about. He even says it. He's all, I wasn't really talking about that community. I was talking about us. So the same thing here. I really wasn't talking about your destruction, Star Wars. I was trying to make you listen. And for a little while, it looked like, at least with one show, you might have. Turns out that's not the case, but it looks like you might have. Because The Mandalorian was certainly just revisiting George. It's a reasonable facsimile. And what did they do? For the most part, they took away the identity politics and all that crap, at least in the first season. That was all Jon Favreau. That wasn't Lucasfilm or Story Group. That was all Jon Favreau. So Lucasfilm did not listen. And I think Jon Favreau is just that way. But eventually, all things Kathleen Kennedy get fucked up. And that's what happened with The Mandalorian. I mean, we should be heading into The Mandalorian Season 3 right now. It should be a month away. How are we not a month away from the most popular thing on Disney Plus? How did it possibly get delayed? The most popular thing on Disney Plus. The thing that got a lot of people who like to use that hashtag, the Fandom Menace, to go watch and buy into. How the fuck does that get delayed? I'll tell you how. Bad management. Incompetent, bad management. There is no excuse. There should be a Mandalorian Season 3 with Gina Carano coming in about 3 or 4 weeks. That fucker ain't even filming yet. So, Star Wars, bleh. It's Hayden Christensen's coming back to put on a Darth Vader costume and fight Obi-Wan for the first time again. That is a directionless company. When you have to rely on that, when you are just plucking the past, I mean, that can only go so far. Star Wars still has a great built-in fan base, and bless them. If you want to have fun, go ahead. No skin off my back. But I see it as a complete lost cause. They are the Disney trilogy is canon. Luke Skywalker failed. Han Solo died a bad dad. Fuck the entire universe just for that. Because, I mean, I'm OG Star Wars, original trilogy. Those were my guys. You fucked them. Don't really care after that. I mean, Boba Fett is still alive. Han and Luke. I know it's different times, but we're still following Boba Fett, and Han and Luke are dead. We're still following a fucking villain. Palpatine might pop up again. Who fucking knows what they're going to do? Oh, I'll tell you exactly what they're going to do. Remake the original trilogy. They're doing an animated version, another animated remake. This is all in preparation for a live action remake of the original trilogy, which my best guess will be in theaters, but I think they could make it a Disney Plus show too. Because they got nothing for theaters right now. Patty Jenkins? You kidding me? Oh. And Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers. They removed the black person from the poster for China. Yes, they did. Yeah, for Dune. They did it. Progressive Hollywood. Getting on their soapbox and telling us how good they are and how bad we are. Remember, Warner Brothers didn't want to associate itself with geeks and gamers. And there's another story I could tell someday, but, well, actually, I can't tell it, but I would like to tell. About Warner Brothers not wanting to associate with yours truly. I will tell that story someday. I promise. But I don't want to associate with Warner Brothers. Fuck Warner Brothers. Put that woman back on the poster for China. If you don't, then, guess what? You're full of shit, like you always have been. True story. I'll pull up the picture in a little bit. Samuel Myth for 2 British pounds says, hopefully no more EastEnders writers for Doctor Who. I don't think there will be with Bad Wolf involved. I think there'll be better writers, but I would just say, I like I said in my video, I don't want to piss on your hopes. I don't. Just temper them. Because I don't think things are going to change. As a matter of fact, we're going to go over an article that sounds like they are going to, as predicted by me and many, many others, they're going to double down on the Timeless Children. Okay, how do I say this? Moto Mater Racer. It's all one word. M-O-T or Mo. Yeah, I can't tell. I'll just say Racer. We'll just say Racer. He says, hey, Gary, previous Super Chat guy, but never got my question read on this nooner yet. Currently living in Santa Cruz Mountains. It's beautiful there, except for all the damn vampires. And prepping to leave this toilet state, heading to Greenville, South Carolina. Good. North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee are all good places to move to where it's cheap. I seriously thought about Tennessee. I gave it a good think. And the reason we lean towards Texas is it's closer to my sister. It is close. My mom, it looks like, is going to be staying here. She doesn't want to go to Texas. I'm not going to get into that. It's a headache. And we have friends in Texas, but that's a good place to go. Random, but you ever consider moving to the East Coast? Asks Claudio Rogojan. No, I'm not an East Coast person. I'll visit. I'll happily visit, and I'll be closer. Sean Carter for $5. Hey, I'm late. What did I miss? Hopefully more than Alec Baldwin. Yeah, I'm not. My boy Ryan is covering that great. And I talked about it on my Square Up. When it comes to death, I don't really want to cover it. I don't. It's a fucked up situation. What I will say is what I said on Friday Night Tights. This is a good opportunity talk about karma. Karma's a real thing. And karma is always watching. So you can pretend to be this great person out in public. You're a piece of shit behind the scenes. Karma sees you. When you're... Basically, it comes down to this. This is why you don't wish death on people. It doesn't matter how awful they are. Doesn't matter how much you don't like them. I'll speak for myself. I'm not going to be happy if somebody I don't like passes away. A kid who used to bully me when I was a kid, he died in 1994. Wasn't happy about it. You know, Alec Baldwin is, by all accounts, not a very good dude. Not a very good dude. Has said some horrible things, and he probably feels pretty horrible right now. And we've heard what he said to his own daughter. We've seen everything uncovered, and it looked like Hollywood. That's Hollywood. They cut corners all the time. They just get away with it. They don't get caught. Things get covered up. Believe me. I'm not going to say like somebody's died on the set, but there's been accidents. Shit, there was an accident at Batwoman. A poor woman is a quadriplegic now because of incompetence on the set. And what's happening is through these inclusivity and diverse hiring, which is all done as a way to save money. There's a lot of inexperienced people working on sets, and it's dangerous in some cases, especially in the case of Batwoman, where there's been a bunch of injuries. I could say with Doctor Who, where there's been no injuries, but the incompetence has led to a lot of reshoots and shooting taking forever and it's costing them twice as much money. So whatever money they were saving, they're losing in lack of experience. Instead of doing that whole meritocracy thing, kind of important. And imagine if they start dictating this stuff at real jobs. Like, we need the nuclear power plant to be more inclusive and diverse. No. We need the nuclear power plant to be operated by the best possible people. I'm sorry, the hospital needs to be more inclusive and diverse. No, my doctor needs to be the best doctor possible. Same thing would go with somebody working on your car. You know, people don't think about that enough. You know, your car can kill you. So make sure you don't go cheap on repairs and you know who your mechanic is, because your car can kill you. Alec Baldwin. Yeah. Crazy Cat Guy. Thank you for the 2 super stickers for $1.49 and $3. I appreciate it. Hey, let's look at a couple articles. Let's start out with, I was looking at the Rotten Tomatoes. Give me just a moment here. Do we want to start with that? Yeah, I think we'll start with that. So a friend of mine who works in the industry, that's as far as I can go, watched The Eternals and said it's the most pretentious movie he has ever seen. To give you some context, this friend of mine didn't mind Shang-Chi or Black Widow. He definitely acknowledges that the MCU has a third act problem, and he says that it's the same with this movie. But this movie, he called it Marvel's worst film. Marvel's worst film. Here we go. And the reviews are starting to come in. And they're sounding tepid. So remember when the Shills came out and they said, it's really different. It's a different movie. Oh my God, it's so wonderful and different. But they're not calling it spectacular or great. They call it like a DC movie. Well, we're starting to see right now as it stands, it's at 70% on Rotten Tomatoes. But if you go to the official shills, as opposed to the other shills, the official shills, it's at 63%. So this is a Disney movie. They don't criticize Disney movies. Now, hey, maybe it's good because they don't like it. I don't know. I don't trust critics at all. I think they're all full of shit and useless. Most. Some are okay. There's still a couple out there. But we got this. There's a strange new self-sabotage energy at the heart of this landmark blockbuster. On the surface of the 26th installment of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I lovingly call the MCU, is about conspicuous reinvention and interrogation of formula. The aesthetics are refined, and the historical sweep is ambitious from Mesopotamia to 5000 BC to 5000 BC to today, via Gupta era India, and if I probably mispronounced that, 16th century Mexico. Even the film's villainous monsters, the Deviants, are conceived with originality. As huge Cineas quadrupeds like a robust collection of man-eating computer cables. I believe do I have to read the rest of this? Oh. Yeah, I'm not going to fucking forget that. We'll go over to Rotten Tomatoes. I forgot that subscription. So we will go to... How does that... Why is the chat box there? Okay. Done. Where did that go? That's strange. There we go. One-man show, folks. It's a one-man show. So we got the tomato meter. It's going up a little bit. But that's pretty low for a Disney film. One directed by one Chloe Zhao. Of course, there's still a lot of glowing reviews, but a second friend has spoken to me this morning and said it's Marvel's worst film. So we'll find out. Maybe it's the greatest one ever made. Not really sure about that. Oh, we got to keep that over there, I guess. All right, so there's an easier way to do this. Boom. Oh, there's Grace. Did Grace? She liked it. There's enough good elements here to warrant a fresh tomato, but wow, did Chloe Zhao not understand the MCU assignment? Madden, Jolie, Nagiani, and Rodolphe are standouts. Then we have Perry Nemiroff. Doesn't like it. The weight of complicated exposition weakens the energy of Eternals a little too often. It is as if it's at its best when the focus is on the Eternals recreating their family, the humor of it, and the passion when they fight for each other and the things they love. Now, remember, a lot of this stuff was made a couple of years ago, and I said it's going to get better. It's going to get worse before it gets better. What is this? A convoluted cosmic misfire and one of Marvel's dullest efforts in years. My second friend said it looked like a giant just green screen fest, and the visual Chloe Zhao, he said, just basically mailed it in. We got to remember this film will not be allowed to be released in China because of Chloe Zhao's statements. And this is the movie I said might flop, just to be clear. Earlier on this year, I'm like, wow, this could be the year Marvel has a flop. They are in a lot of trouble because they're prioritizing a lot of things before entertaining people and, putting out a good superhero film. They're more concerned about being a platform and pushing things like deaf superheroes. Okay, well, let's talk about the Eternals just for a moment. Now, everybody's an Eternal expert now. I know that because they've read Wikipedia, they've watched their Emergency Awesome videos, but nobody gave a fuck about the Eternals. There are a few Kirby fans out there who know them up and down. I own the original books. The original book was canceled. Kirby was, he went to DC. He came back. Kirby, I think, read some Zachariah Sitchin. He read some Eric Von Daniken, and it really inspired him to do Ragnarok over and over again, basically. We had the New Gods. We had the Eternals. A lot of that stemmed from Thor. From him working on Thor, he was really into that shit, and it's some of his best fucking art. It's beautiful. So what does Marvel decide to do? Not do anything Kirby. The Eternals should be a Kirby love letter. It should be done with a 4-color fucking palette. It should have Kirby crackle everywhere, chroming everywhere. Instead, it's dull and muted because they don't give a shit, because Kevin Feige is an imposter, dude. Kevin Feige's a Star Wars fan who probably, when he says I was a fan of the comics, he bought a t-shirt, maybe watched the cartoons, but Kevin Feige wasn't buying comics every week or every month or even every year at a comic book shop. Now, he knows about this stuff now, and that's fine. Again, I don't mean to disrespect all the Eternals experts out there now, but they're basically demigods. So why would demigods want to be deaf, middleweight, or middle-aged, overweight, dad bods? Doesn't make a lot of sense. This is part of the deconstruction of the hero. The reason the Eternals got fast-tracked is because of its inclusivity and diversity and its representation. Not because of its story. Oh, and definitely stay for the credit scenes. Stay for the credit scenes because it sets up the next thing, which is going to be the best Marvel thing from now on. It's always going to be the next thing. It's going to perpetually be the next thing, but it'll never be this thing. What a shame. What a shame. And, you've got, at least with Dune, whether you like it or not, they honored the source material. Now, it's a little easier to honor Dune's source material these days in Hollywood than, say, J.R.R. Tolkien's source material, because Dune's source material is a little more in line with the very rich, elitist, anti-colonist or colonialist Marxist Hollywood. So it's easier for them to adapt. The Eternals, like, even if you look at these and you guys know this, even the positive reviews are very tepid. Eternals, Jamie Jirak. Eternals will likely be one of the more divisive films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, no matter how you feel about the Eternals. There's no denying Phase 4 is off to an exciting start. Those sentences don't even go together. This is going to be a divisive film. Way to go, Phase 4! MCU Phase 4. Eternals is a decent flick, but it rarely manages to rise above what we've already seen before in the MCU. The fight-driven action is fun. Jolie really has a ball, but it all feels geared towards setting up further adventures. The next thing. A disappointment of cosmic proportions, Eternals never takes off due to a pedestrian script that wastes a galaxy of talent. The scale of this is a positive review. The scale of the Eternals is unlike anything we've seen to date in the MCU, but it also ends up in a movie that just has too much on its plate. Oh, and to answer the questions, why don't we wait and see the film before we pass judgment? Who in the hell does that? Who does that? I'm on YouTube. Plus, I'm a nerd. I've been doing this stuff before I was on YouTube. I've been doing this stuff for years. Worth seeing just to experience the bizarre narrative corners, IP-driven filmmaking, and mindless synergy have painted these filmmakers into. That's a positive review. I repeat, worth seeing just to experience the bizarre narrative corners, IP-driven filmmaking, and mindless synergy have painted these filmmakers into. Eternals may not be the worst of Marvel's films, but it's undoubtedly the most disappointing. That's Nicholas Barber from BBC. Boy, does this patchy, paceless film go on for an eternity. That's The Sun, Daily Telegraph. It's constantly engaged in a kind of grit-tooth authenticity theater, going out of its way to show you it's doing all the things proper cinema does, even though none of them bring any discernible benefit whatsoever to the film at hand. 2 out of 5. I want to find another positive review that doesn't sound positive. Oh, wait. Damon says, it's the most emotionally intimate Marvel story to date. Because I want to go to a Marvel film to feel emotional intimacy. But I have a question. What the fuck does that even mean? Emotional intimacy between characters, or you as a person connecting with these fake characters? Because intimacy, I don't know if you know what that means. Scotty Mendelson didn't like it. Not enough Sprite. I'm guessing not enough Sprite in it. By the way, speaking of Sprite, hang on. Little scene transition here. I made some hackery art yesterday. I just wanted you to see it real quick. I couldn't resist. Oh, she's cut off. Come on. There we go. Now, if there was more Greta Thunberg as Sprite, I think, and she was like maybe dancing on a pole, I think Scotty Mendelson might have liked the movie a little more. That's just pure speculation on my part, by the way. But I mean, look at this dude's picture, man. Does anything scream like don't go to this guy's house for fucking Halloween than this picture right here? Hello, children. Would you like some candy? I have it in my white van. Yeah, it's weird. Cuties Defenders kind of reared their ugly little heads recently. One of Marvel's most ambitious movies in years. It's also one of the weakest since Thor: The Dark World, says Kristen Acuna of The Insider. The Insider. What's the... Oh, yeah, that's garbage here. Oh, it's all garbage tier. You walk out in the depressing realization that you've just seen one of the more interesting movies Marvel will ever make, and hopefully the least interesting one Chloe Zhao will ever make. But that's a negative review. It's not exactly boring. There's always something new to behold, but nor is it particularly exciting, and it lacks the breezy wit of Marvel's best movies. That breezy wit, I think that's the thing people are getting the most tired of. It worked fine in Guardians of the Galaxy. It doesn't really work in anything else. So, what I said earlier this year I did a couple of Marvel is doomed, and I still believe Marvel is doomed. Why? Because they're following the same path that they followed in the comics, which led to their doom, which led to them not being able to pay people because they're not making enough money as far as publishing comics. It's led the entire industry to start conflating their sales with other mediums. All of a sudden, comics are manga. How do you feel about that, manga? Stop laughing. Stop. Shh. They think it's hilarious. Children's books are now comic books. Graphic novel sales to Scholastic, which are piped in through our kids' schools, which is government funded. You know, the question has been asked again. I've brought this up. I brought this up last year. I brought this up the year before. Do government subsidies come into play when it comes to comic books? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Are some of these diversity initiatives government funded? Yes. Go back in the past. The government has asked them to write stories. Watch History Channel's The History of Comics from 2003. It's a great special. I think you could find it on YouTube. It says it in there that the government used to get involved. This is after the Comics Code. So yes, there absolutely is government involvement. There are government people who work in the comic book publishing industry, including the very connected to the Obama administration, Sana Amanat. Propaganda is real. Let's go. So how do we win? We'll get to that, but part of it is informing. We got another rumor from Lord of the Rings we got to talk about, and I wanted to show you a video from over the weekend. That was, I might get dinged for, but I don't care because it's good news. In a way. But first, let's get to a couple donations here. God, is it the 25th already? Holy shite. Manowar 665, the neighbor of the beast for 665 says, know the feeling, brother. But the current home I'm in for 20, bought the current home I live in 20 years ago. New Orleans property tax has increased 4,200% in that time. And who'd have thunk it? But these dickheads are totally shit at spending other people's money. Yeah, if you taxed me and spent the money responsibly, you wouldn't be taxing me as much, and I'd be for it. Listen, I think taxation is theft, but I also live in the real world and understand that we have to pay taxes to a certain extent. But now, everything's getting passed. Because most of the people voting, I mean, they just don't get affected by it. So it's gonna end very badly. Hyperinflation is coming. Be ready. Darth Bane for $5 says, I created a rule of 2 for this. Star Wars is in such a sad state. It's dead. It's a dead brand that's just going to muck around in its past forever, and it's just going to have to live off of. It's kind of Doctor Who's the same way. When you, it's kind of exciting for classic Star Wars fans or classic Doctor Who fans because they're starting to make like classic action figures. They're doing 1/6 scale. I mean, they might even do a 1/6 scale second Doctor now, which would be great. They did a third Doctor, and that's great. That's awesome. That means like your actual show is shit. Your actual product is shit. And it's got nowhere to go because the people who are running these things don't watch it. They don't understand us. And they want it to be a platform. And they don't care about legacy or past or anything. They could care less. Phoenix Tangent for $5.99. Hail, Gary. I wish people covering the Alec Baldwin story would give us the top 4 safety rules. Treat every gun like it's loaded. Never aim the gun at anything if you don't intend to shoot it. Trigger discipline and check behind the target. Good rules. Good rules. Yeah, they are very deadly things. It was an accident due to carelessness. It looks like some nepotism was involved, and the armorer probably had no business being there. My good friend Ryan Kinnell has been covering this in detail. Ryan is very detailed in what he does. He does his research, so go check it out. I have and this is this is no judgment. Right? I want Ryan to make videos on this all day long. He can do it. I'm not going to. I've got a no death policy for the most part. But I mean, I completely support him, and he can talk about it on Friday Night Tights as much as he wants. It's fine. But yeah, karma. Heavy J for $50. Also, fuck Jill Biden's husband. Oh, that's from yesterday, but we'll just say it anyway. Fuck Joe Biden's husband. All right. Got some big plans. Got some big plans. Talked to the person who I was discussing earlier, who I can't say who it is yet, who's going to be coming on board. And we are getting our shopping list together. It really has a lot to do with, how big the studio is going to be. Once that's decided, we'll be moving pretty fast on that, and I will be able to have guests on the Nooner. We'll be able to do more stuff like if there's, if there's on Nooners, I'm running on OBS. So if I wanted to have a guest on, like if Mahler shows up in the chat, he does that sometimes, and I bring him on, I have to kind of stop everything, pull up a whole new screen and get him on. We'll be able to avoid that. That's going to be nice. So I can have people on whenever they want to come on. By the way, Real BBC tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific time on Heel versus Babyface with Mahler. A lot to talk about. Off topic, but Robert De Niro as Columbo in a movie. Thoughts? Asks R for £5 I think that would work. Columbo was a great show. I didn't know it was popular over there in the UK. Had no idea. I think it would work. You can't replace the original. I would just say go back and watch the reruns. Robert De Niro is a short asshole. Him and Al Pacino are both short assholes, but they were also in one of the greatest movies of all time, The Godfather Part 2. There's very few movies that if they're on, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I will stop and watch the rest. Godfather Part 2 are pure genius as far as filmmaking is concerned. I even like the one that they did. It's called The Godfather Epic, where they did it in chronological order until they get to Godfather Part 3, and I stop watching. But yeah, that one's pretty cool. I wish they would put that on Blu-ray, the Epic in chronological order. Just saying hello, old friend. Hope you and your family are well. George Orwell for $10. And George has been coming around this channel for a long, long time. I am surprised you didn't say, I fucking told you so. I told you so. Because that's all you should be saying right now. They're now using your book as instructions. Thank you, George Orwell. Gary, you warned about the woke coming healthcare, but as someone who works in the industry, it is already here. What does that say? Clinics are being selected based, we'll just say workers are being selected based on their skin color, not their ability. Well, that's frightening. Yeah, I was hoping that wasn't happening, but if that's happening, then that's bad. That's bad, but I'm not surprised. What evil lurks in the hearts of men? Loose Cannon 84 222 Baldwin. I see what you did there because he played the shadow. By the way, no character has a greater champion. Fucking Razor Fist. The way he champions for the shadow. I think it's fucking awesome. Loose Cannon 84 for 616. Bruce Wayne looks like he's throwing Kylo Ren tantrums. Yeah, that's as far as the Batman trailer goes, a bit of a concern. And it became more of a concern. There was a little clip of interviewing Robert Pattinson, and he basically confirms that Batman is desperate throughout the entire film. He's like freaking out and spazzing out the entire film. I don't know. You know, Batman did train for 7 to 8 years, came back cool, collected, and ready to go. Not a little spaz, or he would have been dead Batman. Hannah G for $40. Thank you very much. If you haven't seen Corridor Crew's realistic lightsaber fight, it's worth the watch. They took artistic liberties to make the lightsaber more like plasma sword and even created new sound effects for it. Love it. Love from Louisiana. So it's called Corridor Crew's realistic lightsaber fight. I will check it out towards the end of the show. How does that sound? Hannah, thank you. Daniel for $50. Thank you, Daniel. Says mandating that unqualified people be given critically important positions is not the end of the world. If YA novelists can be comic book writers, they can't. Why can't OnlyFans wannabes be gun safety experts? Next, you'll say that senile can't be president. Okay, I sit corrected, Dan. I sit corrected, Daniel. Good point. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? Is that you, Barack Obama? Barack Obama. Millennia for 20 Canadian pesos. Currently banned from going to the movies due to the Canadian Vaxport. I really want to see Dune, but I guess it's yo-ho, a pirate's life for me. Evaski scurvy wenches prepare to be violated. Ha. Sorry. I'm also a U.S. citizen. Will you be my underground railroad? LOL. Yes. I think we need an underground railroad for Canadians. Melina, you and Lauren Chen, X-Ray Girl, Perry Chan. We might even let Mark the Cyborg come. He can hop on over the border. Yes, I will be your Underground Railroad. You don't get it on HBO Max there? Chef Ez does it for $9.99 says, often imitated, never duplicated. You rock, Gary. Why, thank you. I appreciate it. Who would imitate me? That is, yeah, that's kind of a sorry state to be in, I think. Saw Dune on Sunday, and thank you, by the way, Chef Easy does it. I appreciate it. Saw Dune on Sunday, and as a book fan, I did enjoy it. The Sardaukar, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, scene with the chanting was cool. Hopefully, we get an extended edition, but Warner Brothers is dumb. Yeah, I think there probably is an extended edition. They need to have the sequel announced and in production. This movie almost needed a sequel to come out like next year. I don't know how many people are going to wait 2 or 3 years for this. It is popular. It's got very good word of mouth. But I mean, I'm in the realm of nerds, so I'm not sure how normies are taking to this. That's the big question. But it does certainly seem to have a good word of mouth. I liked it. I liked it just fine. Listen, my only criticism would be, aside from them not having a sequel, I stated in my very short spoiler-free review, and I won't spoil anything here. I'm a character-driven person, so that's what I tend to lean towards and like more than plot-driven. As a fan of fantasy, I love world building, adore it, but it's got to be along with, in conjunction with, great characters. The other movie I liked a lot, The Suicide Squad, had a plot full of holes. Didn't care because it was filled with characters I liked. Squid Game, there are some gaping holes in some of the plot. Great characters. And I was reading their lines. That's how great they were. That's where the humanist, and you know what? Wow. There wasn't and I didn't watch it for the weird elitist white guys in it. I watched it for the human experience, connecting with the main characters. One had a gambling addiction. I suffer from addiction. The other one got in a little too deep with the credit, overpromising. Another guy, got in some trouble, robbing and stealing. We all can connect with people on a human level. And it's almost like it doesn't matter what the skin color is or what the language is. And here we are liking this stuff. So it kind of fucks up the narrative against us. And the only thing I can say is the narrative against me, I fuck it. I don't care. Watch my stuff. You either like it or you don't. I hope I'm pretty clear. I'm pretty clear on what I've said all along. I want entertainment to be fun again. And not be so hateful and divisive. Like Watchmen was a divisive show. That was a hateful, divisive show. As hateful and divisive as any fucking CNN broadcast. By the way, it was great to see Joe Rogan call Don Lemon, what did he call him, a dumb motherfucker? Because Don Lemon's a dumb motherfucker. I'm glad y'all enjoyed Dune. All right. Where's this article? Thanks, babe. Okay, yeah. So there's a fake. Melissa's looking out. She said there's a fake. There's fake Nerdrotic accounts everywhere. Just here on YouTube, they'll have a little check mark next to them. That's why, or my name will be highlighted. Can't really control anything on Twitter, but I will repeat again. The only places I interact are YouTube, which is my main platform, Twitter, Instagram, which is run by my wife, Mrs. Nerdrotic, Minds, and Parler, where I just share stuff. So it's mostly just YouTube. And somebody's been impersonating George Molo as well. Man, welcome to the big time, George. I'm so excited for George. George has one video out, and he's already getting impersonated. He's already memed. I mean, there's people who like fight for years for that. And that is brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. Couldn't happen to a better guy. George is a good dude, man. You know what? Anybody who like really like, you know, in all seriousness, we laugh at this stuff, and this is the internet. That's part of it. People are going to give you shit. People are going to give you shit. So let's give a preview of principles. Okay, so principles, they matter. Nick Rekieta did a great video the other day, and it was all about that YouTuber who tried to take my channel down. I got a lecture about honesty from another YouTuber who I don't name names here, but getting a lecture about honesty from this YouTuber is hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. But I digress. The YouTuber did try to take my channel down for having Alex Jones on, and at the time, I didn't say anything. You want to know why? Because my channel did get taken down. It got monetized. It was done. Did I like it? No. Do I take that personal? Yes. That's the one time I take stuff personal, when they try to take my channel down. Anything else they can do. You can complain about my takes on Shang-Chi. You can complain about my takes on anything. You can call me whatever you want. You can call me any name in the book, and they have. I don't care. I don't care. Go after my channel. I care a little bit. But because nothing happened, I didn't make that big of a thing. But then that person became the hero of free speech. So I just pointed out, I'm just like, wow, that's really weird and inconsistent. And Nick Rekieta did a great live stream talking about principles and how they don't exist here. They just don't. They just don't. There's a lot of bullshit that I'm sure you guys recognize all the time. The thing is, a lot of the content creators don't think you recognize it because they think they're smarter than you, and they're not. They are clearly not. You are clearly smarter than them. They are not getting one over on you, and good for you. So that content creator offered up an apology. If the apology would have come via DM about a week ago, I probably would have said fine. I mean, my philosophy on that stuff is I always have a space in my heart for forgiveness, but I don't forget. As far as like trust, that has to be earned. But it turns out that apology was just so they could go on InfoWars the next day. So keep in mind, this person tried to take me down for having Alex Jones on. It wasn't really about Alex Jones. It wasn't about what Alex Jones had to say. It wasn't about what Jeremy had to say or Az. It was about the fact that Alex Jones was on my channel. That's it. Incidentally, that person had asked to be on the show. I missed it. I missed the DM. So that's the kind of bullshit that's going on here. And those are internet games, and that's part of YouTube. And I understand that's how Logan Paul and the Pauls got big. And if it's just a troll, fine, whatever. I'm not here to clown around with trolling. I actually am a big dummy, and I believe in what we're doing here. And the reason I do that it got reaffirmed in Vegas. It got reaffirmed in Vegas talking to all y'all. And what did I hear? What did Jeremy hear? What did everybody hear? Drunk 3PO, Ryan, we all heard the same thing. What you guys do matters to us. And that meant the world to us. Filled my heart up. So, good stunt. Good stunt. Absolutely good stunt. There's nothing behind it though. And listen, I don't care. I'm not going to get into a squabble. I don't care what this person does. They are free to do what they like on their channel. Say what they like. I don't care. You come after, by the way, just incidentally, right now, as it stands, this is an entertainment channel. Everything I do is based on what I care about, but it's still my main source of income and has been because my wife lost her business. It was never intended to be. But my two kids, my older son who's watching my younger son right now, my wife, and my mother rely on this channel. It's not something I talk about a lot because it's not anybody's, business what I make. But and it's none of mine what you make, by the way. But you guys have really helped my mom over the last year. And I've brought that up before. And she's really grateful for it. When she has her moments of clarity. Sometimes she doesn't. She's having a really hard time. But yeah, so whether it was a gag, whether it was personal, whether it was envy, I don't really care. That all could have gone away. And again, I didn't make an issue of it because nothing happened. But then seeing that, we just want to remember that if we're really in this to change things, then there has to be some principles. Or we're no better than them. And I've already had, plenty of disappointments over the last few months. That's life. Part of that is if we're going to go out throwing flames, going after people, we have to be able to take it. We have to be able to take it. But loyalty, honesty, principles, that shit matters to me. I can't control what other people say, what other people do. I'm not going to clap back on it because I don't want to give validation to lies, which there are a lot of out there. And that's part of the gig. And I'm not going to waste my time on it and usually cover stuff like Doctor Who, move forward. But principles matter. And the narrative is always changing. First, there was apology. By the way, I never asked for an apology, nor do I need one. If somebody wants to donate money to charity, do it. Why don't you do that act of kindness that's not observed? The true act of kindness, the one that's unobserved. If somebody wants to talk to me behind the scenes via DM, completely open to it. Always been open to that. But I'm not interested in playing some fucking theater or some fucking game out here on YouTube. No thanks. All right, let's go to Doctor Who. That shit is for the birds. I've got a much nastier name for it, but I'll just hold back. Oh, whoops. Totally see what I was looking at. I was looking at sideshow.com. There we go. Doctor Who producer hints at follow-up to Timeless Children reveals in Series 13. The Timeless Child revelations will be followed up in Doctor Who Series 13, Matt Strevens teases. Everybody who had those high hopes with Russell T. Davies, you might not want to hear this article because this will ruin it. So if The Timeless Children was the last Jedi of Doctor Who, this is going to be the Rise of Skywalker of Doctor Who. Get ready for some fallout. Doctor Who fans, the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, will revisit some loose ends from the Timeless Children reveal. You mean loose ends from the retcon destroying Origin that didn't have a line of dialogue in it? There's nothing but loose ends. In the soon-to-launch Doctor Who Series 13, or at least that's what executive producer Matt Strevens, exiting executive producer Matt Strevens, seems to have implied in a new interview shared via BBC. Fans of the show will recall that Doctor Who Series 12 was a piece of shit and total fucking disaster that destroyed the show from the ground up, alienating fans probably forever. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not what it said. It said centerpiece, in which the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker's Time Lord discovered several big secrets about himself. He was the first Time Lord ever known. No. Wrong. Did you not watch the show? Tecteun culturally and physically appropriated her power to create the Time Lords. Tecteun was the first Time Lord. The entire Time Lord race was genetically altered using his DNA, and she lived countless lives that she can't remember. This is all in an effort to create more stories because apparently Doctor Who had run out of stories. But the truth of the matter is, Doctor Who's past was too white. So they had to unwhite the past of Doctor Who. And instead of just coming out and saying that, telling the truth, they lie. They say, this is an opportunity to tell more stories. But that's not why they did it. They did it to unwhite the past, retcon the past, destroy what made Doctor Who popular in the first place. And they actually thought they could get away with it. If it wasn't for those damn YouTubers. Fans of the show will recall. Oh, I already read that part. Although he didn't give much in the way of clues, probably because he doesn't fucking know him. I mean, it's Chris Chibnall, so there's going to be an arbitrary time clock, and everything will be wrapped up in the last 5 minutes after 40 minutes of exposition that'll end up being meaningless. Yes, I've watched a lot of Chris Chibnall, more than I thought. Even Chris Chibnall, when he was supervised by Stephen Moffat and Russell T. Davies, sucked. Some of the worst episodes. Series 13 picks up on a lot of things that the Doctor learned about herself and her herstory at the end of Series 12. The viewers will be glad to hear those huge revelations will have some sort of consequences, and it'll be interesting to see if Jo Martin's fugitive Doctor, one of the... no, she won't be in it. She's not going to be in it. She already said she's not going to be in it, unless it's a lie. Also, we've really tried to go as big as we could with the visuals as well in terms of CGI and in terms of the design of the series. We really tried to pull out all the stops so when you watch the show, whether it's in 5 years' time or whenever, no one will be able to say you made that during the pandemic. We didn't want to that to impact the experience for the audience. I mean, the writing will tell us that, sweetheart. Strevens also explained how the new series, which will run for 6 episodes, came together during development. He said, we were only given 6 shows to wrap our piece of shit up. Oh, that's not what he said. Series 13 evolved quite late in the day. We had a plan for what we wanted to do, and the pandemic hit, and they had to scuttle the plan, basically. Oh, and they tell us this every year. Everything's going to be cinematic. This is going to be a scary cinematic series like no other series you've seen before. And they're right. I haven't seen shit like that before. This is brand new garbage that I've seen. Each episode is the same bang for its buck. Each episode has a story of that week. We've still gone for the filmic quality for each episode. You mean cinematic, but much more than the previous 2 seasons. We've tried it together with massive overarching story for the Doctor Who and huge jeopardy for the Doctor. We look forward to seeing how it plays out for the Timeless Child. Well, for one, it's the Timeless Children. That was the name of the episode, unless Chris Chibnall forgot. Let's look at her face right there. That's Jodie Whittaker emoting, ladies and gentlemen. And I will tell you that this was the Last Jedi of Doctor Who. It's a complete disaster. It's a one way to ruin my anniversary by having to cover Doctor Who. But I will do it because it's part of the gig. My anniversary is on Halloween. 19 years of marriage, by the way. Here's to Melissa. She's a saint. She's a saint. I'll probably be in Vegas. We're probably just going to trip on over to Vegas for a couple days. We'll celebrate big time on our 20th. But we're moving, so we got a lot of stuff to do. I got to get her a present too. But they're going to double down on the Timeless Children. Are you surprised? No. I think there were some people hoping that this Flux would like retcon it. I think that pretty much tells you everything you need to know. Be prepared for the worst. I'm sorry, but they're just not going to get rid of Jodie. They're not going to get rid of the Timeless Children. And Russell T. Davies is going to, it's going to be et tu, RTD. Et tu, RTD. Listen, I understand why he's going back for 2 reasons. Russell T. Davies loves the BBC, and he's trying to save the BBC, and he's trying to save his legacy. I think he's going to try to do it by winning over both sides. You can't do that, RTD. RTD, do the right thing. Undo the Timeless Children. I'm not asking you to get rid of Jodie. That'd be asking too much. I know that. But get rid of the Timeless Children, and you could probably get some fans back. You don't get rid of the Timeless Children, you're wasting your time, buddy. You're wasting your time. And there's a big person missing from RTD's crew that was there last time that helped him all along the way. And this might not be a name that everybody likes right now, but Stephen Moffat was there. Now, Stephen Moffat might co-write a couple of episodes. But remember, Stephen Moffat asked RTD to come back every single year who was in charge, and RTD said no. So why is he coming back? To save his legacy, to help save the BBC. And unless they do like a 60th anniversary 1 season long special where you bring back multiple doctors, which I think would be great. You want to bring fans back? That's some fan service that'll work. You get Paul McGann. You get Christopher Eccleston. You beg Peter Capaldi to come back. David Tennant will come back. I don't know if Matt Smith will. He's going to be busy. He's going to be busy trying to save another franchise. But if you did a season long with multiple doctors, that'd be pretty dope. But it's so far away from being what it was. I mean, it's been a decade. Damn, yeah, it's been a decade. Oh my God. I didn't even think about this. Yesterday, here I got to get the main screen because it's going to be a hard transition. But it just hit my head. Yes, 30 years ago yesterday was my original sobriety date before I relapsed. So I got a new one. It's December 27th. But my old sobriety date used to be 10/24 because that was the last day, hopefully, I was arrested. And I used to say that a lot, but considering where America's going, it might not be the last day I'm arrested. But it's the last day I'm arrested for petty crimes. 30 years ago yesterday was the last day I got arrested. Got taken in. Didn't get to go home until damn near 3 years later. 30 fucking years. God. It's a long time ago. Peter O'Donovan says Doctor Who set in Venice in 1989. Cool reboot. Matt Berry as Doctor Who. Well, it was the vampires in Venice. G-Man for $5. Gary, there's a twinkle in your eye I've never seen before. Glad things are falling into place for you and your family. Hail Nerdrotic. Thank you, G-Man, for $5. I'm very fired up. I've got a lot of stuff. I can't tell you right now, but I got big plans. I got some plans. Jeremy is doing his thing, right? And I'm doing my thing, and we're kind of both going. It's great, all of us are kind of motoring along and achieving goals. It's fun to achieve goals that you set out because you work hard. Nothing more rewarding on this planet. I'll tell you guys, I promise. Mikey Gussler, what's up, buddy? For $5. He says, Gary, please reach out to X-Ray Girl and tell her I sent a message on Instagram about the potential guests for Friday Night Tights, please. She'll hear that super chat. But thanks, Mikey. By the way, Friday Night Tights this Friday, Critical Drinker and Mauler. Halloween special. I don't know I don't think we're going to do any spooky stuff. We'll probably just be in costumes. Oh, God, I got to get a costume. I'll go to the Halloween store and see what I got. Oh, whoops. Eric K for $2. Yay, Mrs. N. She is a saint for putting up with Gary. Yeah, she is. Happy anniversary from Lord Thoth for 2 Canadian pesos. Thank you. Toxic Man Flu. You are an inspiration to many, Gary, for $2. Thank you. I appreciate that. My fear is that Davy's return to Doctor Who will not be undoing Chibnall, but instead Davies will destroy his own lore and vindicate Chibnall. Hashtag RIP Doctor Who. Deleted by moderators for $10. I don't know if that's your name or if it actually was deleted. Why are my moderators deleting names if that really happened? Sith Cake for $5. Thank you. I don't care who comes back. Doctor Who is dead to me, and I won't watch a single second of it. I will, however, watch the old stuff. Yep, that's what you got to do. Donation side. $25. Jay Schwalbach says, on Timcast, glad I got my super chat in early on Timcast. That explains a lot about why they are, it says gang everyone in the comic books. Oh, why they are gang everyone in the comic books. It's so they can pump them into the schools and mainstreams their agenda. Great. Fuck take on that. Love the porn. Thank you, Jay Schwalbach. But that's been the plan all along. The lifestyle brand for Marvel was just a front. I mean, like it already is. They already sell more in TV shirts and TV shirts, T-shirts, sheets, shit like that. That stuff sells better than the comics. The IP, the toys, everything else sells better than the actual comics. They're there to hold the IP. But the like this. This is something I've been talking about for 3 years on this channel. I especially brought it up when I was at Comic-Con. The librarians have a ton of power. And I know this because I talked to a couple of them and I used to work with them. And comic shops, by the way, feed the libraries. The libraries buy comics through comic shops. They don't have direct accounts with Diamond. And it's a state thing, so you take a risk. You have to buy 6 months worth of books for the library. The library pays you once or twice a year, and the check is always late. But they have a lot of influence. Yeah, Scholastic, all that stuff is influenced by the teachers and the teachers' unions and the government. Yeah, that's why we say it's propaganda. That's why we've been saying it's propaganda. Absolutely. Don't support this shit. Don't support this shit. As Eric July says, we got to, and Dave Cullen and yours truly, we got to mock this shit. We got to point it out, and we have to continually do it because we're continually bringing new people over. And then we make suggestions. That's all I have the power to do. I'm not a creative. I'm not going to make a book. I'm not going to do all that stuff. This is where I'm creative, is right here. And I do make suggestions all the time. Whether they listen to it or not, it's up to me. I mean, it's up to them. But as far as directing people to other stuff, to independent stuff, I'll do it. I don't necessarily have a responsibility to do that. I'm happy to do it. I was talking about the independent movement for a long time. What the independent movement needs to do is be good, be consistent, and if something comes my way, I'll definitely pump it. And I have supported a lot of it. A lot of us have. Again, we haven't done it publicly for a lot of reasons. But I know for a fact Az has spent thousands on independent books. I've spent thousands on independent books. In support. In absolute support. We are customers. Right now, my porn is Zillow, Jay Schwalbach. Zillow. That's my porn. All right. Oh, this is cool. Oh, that Fauci dog news was that's horrible. I don't want to get into that, but here I'm going to play a couple clips of this. You guys know how I feel about public school now. But Adam Krigler, who was our guest last week on Friday Night Tights, shared this, and I thought it was cool as hell. So let's take a look. Whoops. Hang on. My bad.
Not many.
Good idea. Good idea. So I thought that was a really cool story. Gives a lot of people good feels. Good dads have a lot of power. Have a lot of power, even to the kids who don't have dads. So basically an army of union-trained teachers couldn't control these kids. And they were, what the fuck? Something fell. And they were doing this.
Not many good news stories begin in such a bad news way. It happened.
Not a single fucking teacher, not a single faculty member unionized could stop that shit. 5 dads just decide, okay, we're going to go and stop it. And what do? It with charm, with fucking charm. And they stop it overnight. It's time to rethink public education. The crazy left loves to say it's time to rethink. It's time to rethink this. It's time to rethink that. It's time to rethink your fucking commie public education because it's clearly not working. Our kids aren't fucking safe. They're not safe from the fucking teachers, the teachers unions that protect freaking Fredos and freaks, and the teachers unions who are out there wanting to indoctrinate our kids in 6 months. Remember that kid? Remember that fucking teacher? And I said there's 1,000 more like him in the Bay Area because there are. And you get 5 cool dads. Fucking it's overnight. And I hope they do it. Homeschool your kid if you can still. Because it's a fucking joke that it got to that bad and it took 5 dads to fix it overnight. What did the school do? It probably gave them detention. They probably had committees and meetings. And here's part of the problem. You heard them say gentle ribbing. You can't even gently rib kids today. So this is a great story, but this is how bad our fucking schools are. This is how bad our fucking schools are. And you can't protect yourself anymore. So that's probably why it's going to blows. We entrusted these people with our kids. They failed. They absolutely failed. The last 2 years has been such a monstrous fail to our fucking youth in this country. I mean, just look at fucking TikTok right now. It's a joke. It's also sad. It's also really fucking sad. That's a great story. I hope they spread throughout the country. And then I hope people start actually questioning, how did they fix this so fast? How did 5 dads just showing up and fist pumping some kids and throwing a smile on their face and throwing a dad joke out there, how did they fix this so fast? Well, I'll answer the question. We have schools filled with unqualified teachers who aren't there to teach our kids. They're there to indoctrinate, or they're there because they never wanted to leave school. There might be one good teacher in 100 nowadays in the public school system. A lot of the good ones are going to private school systems. But that's a great story. Those are good dads right there. I think it's a great fucking idea. Looking out for our babies, he said. Looking out for our babies. I like that. That's the power of a good father. And then, Hollywood wants to systematically destroy the father. The system wants to systematically destroy the father. There we go. Adrian Hand for $4.99 says, Gary, you're a good man and a good son. Thank you for everything. Thank you, Adrian Hand. I appreciate that. That's very nice. Thank you. Keaton Smith, thank you for the £5 donation. I appreciate it. The Fixer 1 for £2 says, Dune needs a trilogy to get Paul retaking Arrakis. Yeah. And then what happens afterwards? I mean, it goes on and on and on. You're right. Dune needs a trilogy. I don't think I finished my thought earlier. The characters of Dune are its biggest weakness. If the film has a weakness, it's lacking heart, and it's lacking complex characters. It's not. I don't blame the filmmaker. I blame Warner Brothers for. And you got to give it to the filmmaker. Put a lot of faith in there being a sequel because it's a prologue. It's a prologue. I know it's a third and a half in the book, but structurally, it's a prologue because you're just getting to it. Imagine if they ended Game of Thrones in the penultimate episode of the first season and just said, that's it. That's what Dune is. Tyrannus Cygnus for $10 says Doctor Who, bring back Capaldi. He goes through a transformation into Jodie, but another transformation to Tom Baker, where he says, I had a horrible dream. I was a woman. Then he transforms into the new Doctor. That would be fabulous. I would love it. They would never do it. Somebody tried to throw out yesterday, Problem Being knows who this is. I can't remember. That, Tom Baker had a quote in support of Jodie Whittaker. Yeah, you know what? Somebody with their entire legacy connected to the show is probably going to come out in support of Jodie Whittaker. What do they really think behind the scenes? Completely different. Trust me. Trust me on that one. Of course, they're going to come out publicly going, I think he said something like, nobody really fails at being the Doctor, except for the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen because she's failed miserably. The ratings suck. The IP has never been in worse shape. Never. It's in its lowest point ever. And that's why they had to get RTD back. It was desperation. You're a stand-out fella, Gary. Here is barely a tank of gas for myself and the boys. Aw, thanks, Hammerhand. For $50. Yeah. That actually does not fill my tank. But it's okay. It's okay. I don't drive very many places. I drive to the gym and back home. I'm kind of a homebody. Hail, Gary, and congrats to George for having his own ankle biters. Oh. Sassa Mattis. That is beautiful. Yeah, George has ankle biters. Normalize starving ankle biters. What are ankle biters? Ankle biters are people who said they were down with the cause, but they really were just down with themselves. There's no better way to put it, really. And you know what? You guys figured it out. I didn't have to say anything. It's kind of like with that content creator over the weekend. I didn't have to say anything. I just kind of let that person continue with the way they do things, and it just took care of itself. The universe tends to unfold as it should. I know the rest of your guys are going to finish that quote. Plus, I have a really big penis, so that keeps me happy. The Insert Here podcast with Ian says, sidebar, the CNN Vax Pass is bullshit. They let me run shipments of good to the county, but if I wanted to vacay, it was shunned. Let my people go. Yeah, dude. Speaking of sidebar, I watched Viva Frey and Barnes on Timcast. Got to get Robert Barnes and Frey on Friday Night Tights sooner than later. I love the Bobby Barnes. It's my boy. I like that. He's a real deal. He's a real deal. Nerdy Girl Creates says, Hail Gary. Hail chat. Hail chat. Hail chat. Did I tell you you're looking really good today? Yeah, you are. You should see that Japanese girl reacting to Lord of the Rings. Insanity Methods. I have. The Grizzly for $10 in 1984 is an allegory for 1948 in Czechoslovakia when the Soviet Union rose to power. It's not a rule book. It's history repeating itself. They already wrote the rules. Orwell did the work transcribing it. Yep. Plus, he wasn't like former socialist. He interpreted it quite well. But no, it's like rules for radicals. They're just following instructions. George Orwell wrote the instructions, Grizzly, but they're following them now. The Insert Here podcast with Ian says Columbo was mentioned. There is a canon theory that he retired and was the same character in The Princess Bride. I'm okay with that. That works for me. Jason Powell for $5. I just moved to San Antonio in August, and I love it. Oh, I love to hear that. That is good news. The Grizzly for $20. Sorry I missed the member stream yesterday. Been buying a flat ton of candy for Halloween. We get a lot of trick-or-treaters where I'm from. I heard from a friend that you guys don't do that much in this part of the country. Trick-or-treating? Oh, dude, people trick-or-treat like crazy here in San Diego. Are you kidding me? No. And in San Francisco. In San Francisco, you have to go to neighborhoods, right? And you know who was the best house to go to for trick-or-treating? You know what? Where I took my kids to trick-or-treat was Robin Williams' house. Yep. He lived on Seacliff, and his daughter would pass out candy, and sometimes you'd see Robin. I miss Robin. But yeah, so what you do is you go to neighborhoods, and there's certain, like, it's not like official, but you designate neighborhoods, and these neighborhoods sometimes go out. There's one neighborhood by my comic shop that just did Harry Potter. So all the houses got together and did Harry Potter shit, and it was fucking awesome. It was fucking great. So no, we trick or treat like San Diego's suburbia. So yeah, there's tons of trick or treating. But out in the country, I'm not going to be able to. And I'm going to miss that because I like seeing the little tykes coming around trick or treating. God, it sucked. It broke my heart. The last, when Logan trick or treated for his last year, I'm like, God, I was sadder than he was. He's like, whatever. I'm like, no, this bums me out. Mac DeLisker, the humor in the MCU puts me off them. I mean, is it really appropriate for heroes to crack jokes as hundreds of thousands of people die all around them? Not really. Peter Parker does, but not even Peter Parker does. It just depends. Yeah. Well, for one, the jokes aren't funny, and they're actually put in deliberately because now everything's a fucking algorithm for Disney Plus. By the way, Disney took a huge fucking, I don't know if they've recovered yet, but they took a loss in stocks a few days back because people realized that they didn't have shit on Disney Plus. The best Marvel movie is Blade. Even the best MCU movie are mediocre. And Flux, all the X-Men movies, they were absolutely terrible, says Breer 2471 for $9.99. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is a great film. I think it is a great film. I think Blade is a great film. Winter Soldier. So, best team films. We'll say top 5 team films. I'm going to try to go off the top of my head. Top 5 team films. Number one has got to be the Avengers, the original Avengers. Number two is Guardians of the Galaxy. Number three, these are team films, just superhero team films. Snyder Cut. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Number three, Snyder Cut. Avengers Infinity War. I don't know what number five is. Team. A superhero team. Maybe X-Men First Class. I maybe forgot one or something like that, but yeah. Top five superhero team movies. I might put Guardians above Avengers. A lot of people like shit on that Avengers movie. I don't know why. It's fucking great. It's a great movie. Made a lot of money too, but it was also really great. Why does Fellowship of the Ring succeed where Dune Part 1 fails? J.C. Miller for $4.99. It has heart. It has more characters. It has more believable characters. More characters that you can buy into. I think it builds its world better. I don't think it's even comparable. Dune is a good film. Fellowship of the Ring is all-time great film. Greatest trilogy ever made. So it's way, I can't even tell you how much higher it is than Dune. Dune's a good movie, but don't start comparing it to Fellowship of the Rings. I'm not saying you are, but people, stop. Where's your Gimli? Where's your Sam? Where's your Pippin? None. They're not there. They're not there. You could argue there's a Frodo with Paul. But there's nothing else. You got a decent villain, but not even close. They also had the two films already were made, but Lord of the Rings has heart where Dune does not. And I'm talking about the movie, not the books, folks. I haven't read the book, so I can't judge it. Hail Gary, Tomato Meter woke a meter. What do you think of Amazon producing Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time? Think it's the best saga ever written? No. But I think Amazon will woke the fucking shit out of it. It'll be bad. I'm sorry. And I feel bad I have all the respect in the world for Robert Jordan fans and Dune fans. I have all the respect in the world for you guys. And you have brilliant source material that you can always go back to. That's just that will never be able to equal. But as far as like adapting a book, Peter Jackson did it damn near perfectly. Even where the big changes he made worked. Soul Fiend for £5. But are the end credits good? They are. MCU's motto, hashtag inversity and delusion. Oh, that's good. I like that. Inversity and delusion. Well played, Astro 93. Well done, sir. Well done. Marvel's urinals, says Loose Cannon 84 for 60. Don't give him any ideas. Don't give them any ideas at all. Oh, here comes the rain. It's raining in Southern California. People are about to lose their fucking minds. Speaking of Lord of the Rings. Isildur! All right. So Isildur will be one of the main characters from around episode 3 onwards in the upcoming Amazon The Lord of the Rings TV series after 6 months of investigation, at least. Welcome partly to the late Second Age. So here is my, it looks like they're going to spend the first 3 episodes kind of motoring through the first 1,000 years or 2 or fucking who knows how long of the Second Age. They're going to probably show the fall of Numenor, the forging of the rings, Sauron the Deceiver, and then they're going to go right to the Battle of the Ring, the first one that we see in the epilogue of Lord of the Rings, and the show will center around that. Which, wow, they just go right past Numenor. So we'll probably see 1,000 years worth of stuff in 3 episodes, and then it's going to follow. Yeah, it's going to follow the events right before the Third Age starts. So I guess we're going to rush through the Second Age and just get right to the very end. That's weird. You would think, I thought they were going to like take a season and take, we go over like 100 years or something, or 200 years in one season. Cause they I mean, this is going to be 5 seasons, folks, 5 seasons. They're locked in. It doesn't matter if nobody's watching these things. They are going to have 5 seasons. They will not be canceled. So we're getting 5 seasons of this stuff, no matter what. Like, it's happening. And it looks like we are going to breeze through, like, honestly, the most interesting shit. There you go. It's going to be a hot mess. By the way, it's going to feature hobbits. Hobbits. The early days of the Shire, which was, I guess, originally occupied by black hobbits and some well, there's a lot of them out there. Some idiots on the internet found what I had mentioned already on the many live streams, that Tolkien had described the Harfoots as being a browner shade of skin. He, in another letter, actually tells us how brown it is, and it's walnut, kind of like an animal, like the fur of an animal, kind of a very light brown. But that's how he described the color of the skin. It was not meant to be African black, but of course they took that and they acted on it, right? But it's supposed to be just a browner of skin. It's still, we're talking about English mythology, Norse mythology, but more specifically English mythology. And yeah, so it's going to be, it sounds like it's going to be a hot mess. The OneRing.net, back when I recommended you go there before they turned into a bunch of fucking assholes, said that they were going to play it fast and loose over at Amazon. And of course they are. Of course they are. This thing has got bad reboot written all over it. When have we seen them honor shit? They don't even know how to present the passage of time in a fucking Star Trek show. What makes you think they're going to be able to get this together? Because they have a couple of Breaking Bad writers on staff who they might have fired? Exclusive, Isildur's code name is Cole. The leaked character description is Cole. Series regular male, 18 to 20. I wonder if he's being played by the guy who played Ned Stark. No, he's playing Elrond, I think. So Maxim Baldry is probably playing him. Yeah, Okay. Well, hey, I hope the show's great. I really do. Because I've said this over and over again. I want to cover a good show. I mean, think Game of Thrones, first 4 seasons. How happy everybody was. We were just debating shows. You know, like the Batman trailer. I still have my misgivings about the Batman. I still think it could be an emotionally stunted Batman led around by a much more mature, capable, mommy girlfriend, Catwoman. But I have to admit, the Batman trailer stirred up some normal fucking Batman debates. Like, should his suit be armor or should it not be armor? His ears were too big. I don't like the cowl. It's too dark a gray. I miss the yellow bat symbol. These are fucking normal nerd debates that we should be having. And God, it was nice to hear. It was very nice to hear. I'm like, oh, look, it's normal Batman arguments. I love those. Is he scrawny? Is he too buff? I like Batfleck. I like Keaton. It's like, oh, I'm like, oh, there you are. They're my nerds. They're my peeps. I fucking missed you. This is the last white Batman you're going to get. What's this? What is this? There's a video of Dave Chappelle. Where's the video? Hang on. Oh. Oh, shit. If I want to go see Chappelle, I got to go to San Francisco? Why? Oh, it's a screening. Okay. Of a documentary. Yeah, I can't play any videos by Dave Chappelle because Netflix hits me. Let's see if I can. Yeah, I can't play any video. So I'll just Dave Chappelle basically says, I'm not bending the knee. Good. You know, over that whole controversy, that whole thing was a fucking clown show. All right. And it really showed like it's almost depressing that is who big tech and big Hollywood have been given power to, and Twitter. We got to see cancel culture. We got to see their faces, and they're as crazy as we thought they were. They are lunatics. We have given lunatics power, a very small number of them. And how many people have bent the knee to these fucking lunatics that we should not be taking seriously at all? I like Dave Chappelle. I like Alex Jones. I like jokes. I like speech. It should all exist. Alex Jones gets the same free speech as Dave Chappelle. I get the same free speech as Dave Chappelle. And it's good that he's not bending the knee. And I don't mean to, I've got respect for Dave Chappelle. I like the Dave Chappelle effect. I like what he does. I know what he's about. It's easier for somebody with $24 million in the bank to not bend the knee. And while I appreciate Dave Chappelle, Gina Carano has bigger balls. Bigger fucking balls, metaphorically speaking. Thank you, Dave Chappelle, for your work. Thank you, Bill Burr and Ricky Gervais, for calling out the shit when you need to, when you can. Wish you'd do it a little bit more. And, Bill Maher, protecting his boy. But Gina Carano has bigger balls. And I'm glad he's not bending the knee. Don't bend it. Who would fucking bend the knee to these people? They damn near came out and said it. They were just extorting Netflix. They just wanted more money. And there was more media members there than there was actual employees. Because, when's the next trans walk out at the sewage plant. That's not happening. Again, I appreciate Dave for saying some obvious shit in the closer. Like we all embark on this life traveling through a vag of a woman or the stomach if it's a cesarean. But we all come from a woman. And saying things like gender is a fact is not controversial. Only if we make it controversial. Dave gets to say it. I get to say it. You get to say it. You can say whatever you want. It doesn't mean you hate anybody. Doesn't mean you don't want anybody to exist. Doesn't mean I hate anybody. No, I fucking, you do you. I feel the exact same way as Dave does. I've got no problem with any person with their personal decisions, whatever they want to do. If it makes them happy, bless them. If I meet you in real life and you ask me nicely to refer to you a certain way, I'll do it. Yeah, it's nice. Start demanding shit. I'm not going to do it out of principle. Out of fucking principle. Start demanding shit on me. Fuck you. And I'm sure you guys feel the same way. Hail the Lord of the Rings movie. Music alone makes them superior. Shane Bentley for $9.99. Those Howard Shore scores. I've got the vinyl special edition and the CD special edition. If you can get your hands on those GOAT soundtracks, this side of John Williams. I mean, come on. Empire Strikes Back, Superman, Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Greatest soundtracks of all time. Then, of course, there's Jerry Goldsmith with Star Trek. James Horner, Star Trek 2. Vangelis, Blade Runner. It's all great shit. Lord of the Rings is right up there. Right up there. John Cocozo, a good friend of ours. He did the photography of the meetup. He's been a follower of ours for a long time, an audience member. He's got his own channel. He's a good guy. He remixed the Toto Brian Eno theme to the Dune trailer. Fucking tits. It's great. God, that's such a good theme. Dune is confusing if you haven't read the books. Says Commandant VHS for $2. I was wondering about that. I mean, I knew enough because of the David Lynch movie and the series. I don't know how people are going to feel going in cold. Some people have been fine. It seemed fine to me, to be honest with you. Had a long talk with a YouTuber the other night on Discord about Dune. And listen, I don't want to mess with anybody's enjoyment, and I think like we need a good movie, and Dune isn't necessarily woke. I mean, that shit was there already, like in 1965, and you got to know the whole context. You know, even with the Bene Gesserits, like they needed a man. So, yeah, it's fine. Had a good conversation with that. We felt kind of the same way. Dune's incomplete to me because of the lack of any real like characterization. That shit's important to me. It might not be important to you, and that's cool. A father sets the standard in the family unit. He shows a boy how to treat a woman, and a girl how a woman is to be treated. The left is trying to remove the father to break the family unit and break the wills of the people. Chris, X14N for $20. You're absolutely spot on correct. I'm going to give you a little applause for that. Thank you. My real daddy, my sperm donor, up and bailed on my mom before I was born. So I've never met him. I don't know what he looks like. I only know his last name. I suspect he's still alive. I have no interest at all in meeting him.
and he's never shown any interest in meeting me. But I had a dad growing up, my adopted dad, Arvin Beekler, who, grew up in South Dakota, came out here in the Navy, raised me. I was a monster of a kid. He did, the best he could. There's no instructions for kids. He passed away 20 years ago. I miss him every day. Best fucking dad in the world. Best fucking dad in the world. Totally imperfect. Fucked up a lot. We butted heads a lot. But in the later years, when I learned to appreciate what a good dad meant, he was fucking great. And I wouldn't be here today without him. And I learned so much from him. He was a great mentor. He was a great fucking mentor. So having that male influence in your life, be it a dad, be it a boyfriend, be it an uncle, is important. Doesn't necessarily need to be a dad. It would be better. That's optimal. We'll use the word optimal. Having a full family unit is optimal, but not everybody gets that. Okay. And that's part of life not being fair. But if, like those dads said in that video, they said not everybody has a dad. So they are happy to fill the role at school for a couple of hours. And those are what heroes look like. If you want to throw around that word, that's what they look like. Volker Cornelius, thank you. What is that? Oh, it's a super sticker. I'm like, is that a pizza or a dog? That's how bad my eyesight is. My eyesight is shit. All right, that's it. I'm getting new glasses this week. Going to go to Lens Crafters and get me some new glasses. I think I'm going to make these a little smaller. No more Elton John glasses here. Elton John Ray-Bans. My father used to put the fear of God into me. Yes. My dad was basically the last person who could scare the shit out of me. Used to tell me, act right or I will get rid of you and make another just like you, only smarter and able to listen. Yeah, that's exactly what my dad has said to me almost word for word in the past. You're not unique. He said, I can knock out another one, probably look like you and won't be as dumb. Or don't be stupid, you moron. Remember, that's what Howard Stern used to play his dad. Used to say that to him all the time. And that's what my dad used to say to me all the time. Hey, Nerdrotic, I live in Poway. Thanks to you, I met Jamie at the comic book shop. Would love to meet you before you leave to SoCal. 2 + 2 is not 5. Yeah, we'll do a local one. We almost did for Dune. I think what we can do is maybe we can do a local meetup for the Eternals and go MS3TK the movie. I think that might be fun. We can do that. Since I'm not going to see the Eternals early like I saw Dune. It's nice to see movies early, but I like to go see it with the peeps. That's better. Plus, I had to finagle to see those early a little bit. Yeah, we can do that. I'm going to do an LA one too. We're doing a meetup in Arizona. More details soon. I actually need to talk to Jeremy today. Hey Gary, your channel means so much to us, your supporters. Thank you from the Fellowship. Thank you, Henry 101 $4.99. I love seeing people use the word fellowship. Get rid of that fucking commie word. Community. Can't say spooky with the drinker on. Might get him arrested. Banned word in Scotland now. Sulfine for £5. What? Is that real? I thought that was some bullshit. Oh. Fucking what's up with my people? I'm Scottish. I just found out, by the way. I've told that story before. We did the 23andMe thing. I had no idea. I thought it was German or something like that. Turns out I'm Scottish. Toxic Man Flu for $2. You're an inspiration to many, Gary. Thank you. Thank you. Happy anniversary from Lord Thoth. And we are caught up on that. I think that should do it for today. Oh, shit. WG. Oh, man. Met WG on the member stream yesterday. By the way, the member stream, you can see it on Nerdrotic Live. That's where this live stream will be uploaded. I think we're very close to having the real BBC stay on the channel. Not quite yet, but we're close. But I did a member stream. Go check it out. Met WG. It was great. I meet all of you. So anybody at the Joloja level and higher, it's, I have it down as once a month, but it ends up being like 2 to 3 times a month. I do a member stream, and you guys can come on and ask me anything, and we bullshit for a couple hours and have a good time. Met WG, real fucking deal. WG is the real deal. And I got your email, WG. I will respond to you today. Thank you for $100. Holy shit. Oh, and he says no need to read. Okay. I will get back to you. Thank you. I almost read the whole thing. I'm so dumb sometimes. Spellmonger by Terry Mancor on Audible. Get it, listen to it, tell us what you think. I will do that. A free flying soul. A free flying soul. Thank you for the $20 on the donation side. Matt, 317 for $3. Hi, Gary. Thank you for having us on yesterday. It was a lot of fun. I also work on my voice articulation for next time. You and your family, please get here to Texas soon. Don't worry about your voice articulation. You're doing great, Matt. You're doing great, buddy. It's all good. Okay? Don't worry about that comment section. Caligula for $10. I'm going to give Davies one single chance. When it comes to Doctor Who, nowadays my motto is abandon hope, ye who enter here. I wish it were otherwise. Doctor Who was why I came to your channel in the first place. Why, thank you. And yes, Caligula, Hollywood has not earned your faith. They have scorned you. The comic book industry has scorned you. They need to earn you back, and they need to do that with fan service and respect. And they need to start showing respect to the other side. And we're starting to see some. I predicted this. Okay, not saying I'm Nerdstradamus because I'm not, but Hollywood, mainstream media, and our government now all overreached, and they went too hard to one side. They went hard in the paint to the leftism, and some of them have woken up from this hangover and went, oh shit, we alienated half of the country, and we started calling half of the country Nazis when none of them are. We started calling half of the country racists when none of them are. And now there are people who are trying to convince the normies that we live in a racist society that needs to be torn down. I am thankful for this overreach. I am grateful for this overreach because it has woken a lot of people up who were calling us crazy a couple of years ago. Saw this shit coming. Did I think it would get this bad? No. And I'm sure a lot of you did too. A lot of you were warning me. You were sending me emails for a long time. So here we are together. What do we do about it? How do we win? Eric July said we're going to win, and he's right. Eric July, bit of a Renaissance man, a bit of a prophet, good American. It's going to take a while, but we're partially going to win because our opponents are dumb. They're going to overreach. They're going to make a lot of mistakes. What we need to do is avoid these mistakes. We're going to win because we have principles and they don't. It's really that simple. There are people who play on our side of the playground who have no principles. They'll be weeded out on their own, basically. Seen a lot of that happen already. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. That's all I got to say on that. For those people who are about it, that's good. People like Eric July, my co-hosts on Friday Night Tights, many others, a lot of you in the chat. It's going to take, like I said, it's going to take infiltration. They infiltrated the things we loved. And, I'm not going to blame any of us for letting it happen because it was good what they did. You got to respect what they did. They were lockstep in what they did. And they infiltrated and they destroyed the things we loved. Now we're fighting back. It's too late for some franchises. It is, but we can save our culture overall. And that's the important thing. It's too bad we lost Doctor Who and Star Wars and Marvel Comics and DC Comics on the way. Maybe we can save one or two here and there. But, man, they're coming for everything. Lord of the Rings is next. Batman, the animated series. Fucking Batman, the animated series. Jar Jar Abrams is remaking Batman, the animated series, but except this time, it's woke. Are you fucking kidding me? They can't leave anything alone. So your thing, if you love it, keep it obscure. Lock up in a vault. Maybe not talk about it. Like Farscape, don't let them touch Farscape. Babylon 5, oh shit. The original creator's coming around to remake it in a more modern and inclusive and diverse way. Yeah. Oh well. Stargate. I haven't even seen these shows and I feel bad for you guys. I really do. They came for Twilight Zone. It sucked. Star Trek. Done. It's just fucking toast. By the way, that's coming back real soon too, and I'm sure none of you care. So how do we win? Perseverance, principles, honesty, loyalty, grit, and inspiration. And, hopefully people will continue to slowly build up an independent sphere that can legitimately compete against the comic book industry, the television industry, the movie industry, all these industries. It's going to take years. I'd say the closest is the comic book industry, but there's still miles and years to go with that. Years to go. All right. So, sure I'm not missing anything. I don't have an X-ray girl. And I just want to make sure I got everything here. Give me a moment. Acid Tongue Conservative for $3. I would argue that we got to where we are because we took the high road. I don't think we can win by having principles. They fight dirty and have no morals or standards. We also need to do whatever is necessary to win, even if we have to fight is distasteful. It depends on the situation. Acid Tongue Conservative, because there's certain places just I won't go. So have fun with that. But there's certain places I won't go. I'm not going to go to personal attacks. I'm not going to go to doxing people, publicly posting DMs. If we're going to do that, then count me out. Okay? There's some other shit. You want to fight dirty other ways, that's fine. There's ways to fight dirty and clean. But yeah, if we're like turning into little bitches and like I said, posting public DMs, doxing people, wrongfully accusing people, nope. I think there's a line. And maybe it is a losing philosophy. But if we become them, then we become them. I'm all for provocateurs and it just depends on the situation. But I just gave you 3 examples where I won't go. There's a lot of places I will. A lot of places I will, but those are 3 places I won't go ever. That I see them do. False accusation. Posting DMs public. Ratting people out. And we got to be careful who you support, because we might ascend somebody up who ain't about the cause, and the other side would just love for that person to be in charge. I don't think it's all taking the high road either, acid tongue conservative. I think a lot of it is we abandoned it. Black pill. We had to deal with the black pill. People just left and said, I'm done. I'm walking away. I think we abandoned a lot of it too. I think there is some truth that we tried to play the high road and they got nasty, but we also, our representation, acid tongue, you're conservative. The Republicans, the GOP, are useless pieces of shit. They just are. They haven't done anything. I hear all kinds of fucking talk. I like Ted Cruz as much as the next guy, but the guy doesn't fucking do anything. He doesn't do anything. Doesn't get anything done. How effective are these people? I think they're just, they're the Washington Generals, man. That's the way I see them. We need people who are willing to fight, like Alex Jones. That fucker's willing to fight. We need people who are willing to fight. I am. But we can't have no principles. For one, there's no guarantee we'd win that way. And I can't see Carrie Smith abandoning her principles. I can't see Eric July abandoning his principles. You know? So it makes us different. We just got to find another way. We got to be smart. We got to be united. And we're the majority. We need to start acting like it. Now, like boycotting shit, we can do that, but not enough of us do. Not enough of us do. That's the thing we're fighting too. And I don't mean to be judgmental about this. I mean, everybody can make their own decision, but that when the Mandalorian came by, those are some jangling keys that a lot of people went for. When I was even watching it, I'm like, it's pretty average. But it did look like that they were listening. And that's ultimately what we wanted, right? We wanted them to listen. But then they pulled the rug out. And then the black pillars went, see, told you, shouldn't have listened. Black pill, black pill, black pill. Well, I can't do that shit. If I'm going to black pill, then I'll fucking black pill and just go. There's a lot of different arguments, and that's why the beautiful thing, acid tongue conservatives, is we're not an echo chamber, and that proves it. There's people who are like, fuck Hollywood, just go indie. I'm not there yet. I would like to go to indie. I would love to go to indie. But indie needs to be more consistent, and they need to be good. They need to be legit. I'm not there for a sympathy buy. I'm not there for a sympathy lay. Okay. Indie has to practice, get better. It's in the early stages. It's doing good. We just got to be patient with indie. But there's a point where indie has to produce it can't be just an idea. It needs to be a thing. It needs to be a thing. But do we need to fight a little dirtier? Probably. Do we need to fight back more when we're accused of shit? Yeah, we probably let that go a little bit too much too. Again, I think it's partially taking the moral high ground, but I think it's much more of non-confrontation, walking away, letting too much shit go, and not facing it when it happened. But I think it really does stir up a good debate about that, because we do need to fight. That's for sure. That is for sure. Mugsy Kittens for 5 Canadian pesos. WB pulled a Disney Dune poster, erases black actress from Chinese Dune poster. This was revealed by Dark Titan Enterprises via Vara Dark. Somebody sent me the poster yesterday via email. Let's see if I can find it. I got to make sure it's legit. Oh, 2 days ago. And it was on Breitbart. Yep. It was Breitbart. Uh-oh, not Breitbart. Is that going to trigger some people? Because CNN is so honest. There you go. Everybody's full of shit. We can't be associated with geeks and gamers because Jeremy says some mean things, but we can't put the black person on our poster for China. We can't let Nerdrotic in a certain place because he called us dumb. You know, I take it back. You're not dumb, you're racist. Oh, Jar Jar can come for BTAS, but we already have copies of the Blu-ray of the original already. Batman the Animated Series. Oh, yeah, you're right. Great Loner, we already have the copies, but the next generation will look at that and we'll have a more Bruce Timm is there, and he said it's going to be more. He said it's going to be basically better than Batman the Animated Series because of its inclusivity, its diversity, and its more adult themes. Meaning, do we get to see Poison Ivy go down on Harley Quinn? Derek Choice for $5. More representation would be nice. I would like to see more forklift drivers in movies. I would like to see more female forklift drivers. I know how to drive a forklift. I do now. I learned at Tesla. Hail Nerdrotic, sending you an email today. Friday night custom fireworks show time sensitive for your Halloween episode of Friday Night Tights. Please check for it. I will. CSH. Think of the $5. Roland New for $9.99. As a 20-year-old who grew up with Lord of the Rings, I'm so worried that they want to take a ton of names we know and shove it all in this show with no regards for the lore or how the lore works. Hail Gary, chat, and thank you. Roland, respect the lore. I just alt-right dog whistled you. Respect the customer. I just alt-right dog whistled you. Shane Bentley, thank you again. All right, we got, look at this. Look at this. Holy crap. Hold on. We'll get back to that in just a second. George! He's got a beautiful soul. For $199.99. We are winning. Do you think winners throw fits? No. Do they spit, spew, and spite everything one side creates or enjoys? Never. When you're winning, you know. No need to shout it 24/7 like a romper fucking, that's so true. Like a romper room bedwetter. We win with honor and deed. Word in need of a revival. All hail Nerdrotic and all hail George Moilo. Winners try to do it with humility. I some people aren't into that. I don't know. That's one thing my dad taught me. Act like you fucking been there before. Culture Casino. I line up every day. Well, and by the way, love you, George. Thank you. I line up every day with my brethren, shoulder to shoulder, to fight these pop culture vandals and destroy off better creators, destroyers of better creators' work. All hail and long live the fellowship. Thanks, Gary. And thank you, Culture Casino, for doing the fine work. And I can't wait to see your new line of hair care products, because I know that would be great for you. Respect the lore. All hail. Thanks for making me feel like I'm not crazy, one in my generation of Zoomers. Roland, you're not crazy. I'm not crazy. George isn't crazy. Culture Casino. He's got crazy hair, but he ain't crazy. You're not crazy. We found each other. That's how I found YouTube. I found other people who made me feel sane, because I actually thought it was it. I'm like, well, obviously times have passed me by. I'm done now. But it ended up a little bit different. It did. And thanks to you guys. I'm grateful for all of you. You'll never know how much better you've made my life. There's an interview with Joe Rogan and Jewel. Jewel, singer from San Diego. She's a folk singer. I used to go down to that. She talks about a coffee shop. I used to go to that coffee shop and watch her sing. With my the wife, the first wife. Don't usually bring up the first wife. But she tells a little story of her success. I think it's a good story that you should listen to. Because you guys have, my life is better now. The family has gone through some shit, just like all of you have over the last year. Everybody's gone through some shit. That's the one shared human experience we all have, is 2020. To varying degrees. Some people have lost a lot of people. Some people have lost careers. Some people have had to move. Some people had to stay in their miserable situation. We all have that shared human experience of last year. And it's better because I met you guys, and we got to do this all the time, and we get to continue to do this all the time, which is great. And I know I speak for everyone on Friday Night Tights when they say thank you. Thank you. Jessica, yeah. So, I highly recommend you watch young Jewel. Well, she's not young anymore, but she still lives in San Diego. Melissa's stepmom worked with her for a little while. She's pretty cool, but she used to be homeless She used to be homeless, and then she got a record deal. So she went from homeless to record deal. You know, I went from homeless to prison to blue collar jobs to YouTube. But you know what? I think she has a good story. I think it's a good story. Jessica for $100. Wow, Jessica. So generous. Thank you. Just dropped in to say hi. I moved myself and my fiance to LA to my home state from LA to my home state of Utah a year ago. And my in-laws just bought a house down the street from us and are getting out of LA. Good luck. No, you'll be much happier. Well, I know you're much happier, Jessica. Congratulations for getting to Utah, the beautiful state of Utah, where my wife has a lot of relatives. And yeah, I can't wait to get out. Winners don't need to flaunt our art or our actions will speak for themselves. Now let's get out there and kick some ass for the fellowship, says Sketch for $5. Fucking A. That's where we end it. If I missed the super chat, it will be in a square up. There's going to be another square up. And we're doing them back to front now. So you'll hear that one in the next couple of days. I just wanted to say thanks to everyone. Thanks to the Modrotics, Eric K., George Molo, Jennifer Cisco, Chris Persia. I'm going to forget some names. A Problem Being, Bastard, Lord Thoth. Oh, my God. Who am I missing? Bionic Belly Button. And some other great people. Because my memory is shit. So thank you. Thanks to everyone who donated and left a super chat. You helped keep the lights on. There will be a Nerdrotic Nooner next Wednesday, probably around the same time. Tomorrow, Real BBC with Mahler and Az from Heel versus Babyface, who is he's getting better. He's getting better. Az had a horrible, had a tragedy in the family, and he's been getting back on the Az sickle, and he's doing really good. We love Az, sending out love to Az. And we'll be back tomorrow talking Real BBC. I love that show. I can't wait to bag and board some comics. Get your supplies, get your comics, get your bags, get your boards, and we'll chat. We'll chat tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific time. This Friday, 2:30 p.m. Pacific time, The Critical Drinker and Mahler. Apparently, we can't say the word spooky, or maybe just the Critical Drinker can't say spooky. And you know what? Follow that guy, Eric July, on Twitter, and go check him out on YouTube. Wise dude. And we will fucking win. So, in the meantime, please enjoy some credits. And remember, not all who wander are lost. And may the wings of liberty never lose a feather.
Nerdrotic.com.
So Cyclops is going to be...
make sure the gun stays in his hand, by the way.
Right. So he's going to be laid down. He's going to be... His legs are open, of course, so that Wolverine can insert himself. Then you've got Jean Grey, who's going to be sat on Cyclops' head.
What the fuck is happening?
The gun is disturbing, I must say.
Eiffel Tower.
I have a very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a very long career.
Engage.
That is what we need to see in the comics. Stop queer baiting, Marvel.
Shit.
Can I speak to the manager, please? Soy boy!
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Dame, dame.